Welcome to Dalkeith. Just coming up 6 o'clock. We're here at teams on the BBC site. They're setting up just now. The players are beginning to arrive, management beginning to arrive. But it's our first time on TV, so let's have a little look behind the scenes at what it's like to be as a broadcast club. 7 cameras tonight, some up on the gantries up here, lining down this side of the pitch, and then down by the goals at each end. We're here with Alistair Lamont, tonight's match commentator. Agreed to do an interview, so thank you very much for that. Just wondering, a night like tonight, Dalkeith, Thistle, Brox and Athletic, not teams you would cover, so how do you go about preparing for a match like tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit more challenging because, there's not so much information available on these two teams as there is, readily available on the internet these days. Although I guess I'm quite lucky in the sense that, if you think about commentators back in the day, they didn't have the internet to rely on, so I'm quite fortunate in that regard. But I guess that's where you just have to make contact with people. Go back to that, and there have been people at both clubs in this occasion have been extremely helpful, just kind of giving me a bit of information about the players themselves. I've done a bit of digging obviously myself. There is some available on the internet about the clubs themselves, but mainly just talking to people at both clubs who have provided me with hopefully all I need to know for tonight.
Tonight's match, obviously a first for you, maybe for both teams, seeing them even play at all, so what are you looking forward to seeing tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it's a real classic cup tie, Dalkeith obviously go into it as the underdogs, but with home advantage, I guess you hope that's going to be something of a leveller in terms of making it a good watch, something to, I think the best games to commentate on are the ones that you don't quite know what's going to happen even right up until the end of the game. 5-0 at half time is a bit of a commentator's nightmare because you find yourself maybe struggling a bit more about how to keep it interesting for the viewer and stuff like that. So I just hope that Dalkeith do themselves justice, but equally that it's a good cup tie. May the best team win.
Absolutely. And for yourself, an experienced commentator, you've commentated in the Scottish Cup before. What's been your favourite game that you've commentated in your time covering the Scottish Cup?
I'm going to give you a slightly left field answer here. I've done a few. I mean, Darvel, Aberdeen is right up there. I mean, that will go down in history, and I was lucky enough to be commentating that night, but I'm not going to go for that one. I'll try and keep this story brief, but when I was 10, I won a BBE competition and I was invited to spend a day with someone who I kind of admired, and I wrote to the BBC at that point, asked to spend a day in the life of the BBC commentator of that ilk. That was David Francie, and the BBC came back to me and invited me in to watch the Scottish Cup final of that year, 1986. And I was invited to Hampden, and not only did I get to watch the game from the old press box at Hampden and stuff like that, but I got to do my own dummy commentary. So you can imagine a 10-year-old boy who loves his football getting to be there with all the kind of big names of the day. And I've still got the audio tape of that, which is quite embarrassing to listen to, but what a day that was, and it just whetted my appetite for what's come since.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Alistair, and all the best for tonight's match.
And you.
It's just 30 minutes since full time here, and the cameras are down. The D-Rig is underway. Our own post-match interview is going as well now that the BBC have completed theirs. Successful night in the end for Brox.